very important and misunderstood step in the program. Like we've all said it before, like I never truly understood what being a drug addict or an alcoholic meant. You know, like I never truly understood that step one was, there's two parts in step one. You know, like the powerless part of it, and then like my life is unmanageable with or without drugs, and if I don't have a solution in my life. And like I never understood that like sobriety without a solution was a bigger problem, and that most of this disease happens in sobriety, not while I'm active. You know, I never understood that. So like I wasn't able to put any time in my life together because I thought abstinence was the answer, and it's not even close to being the answer. Like that's a start, but like if I stay abstinent without working on the other two parts of this disease, like I'm gonna go right back to where I was. So like, what is your experience with step one?
So, for a long time I was misinformed by the misinformed. Like, for a long time, step one to me was just the powerlessness of my alcoholism. I understood that I was powerless over alcohol and drugs. Excuse me. I always knew that once I picked up that first drink or that first drug, I was off to the races and there was no stopping me until I'm physically removed. But then, like you just said, once I'm physically removed and the drugs or alcohol are out of my system, that's when the real problems have always started for me. Where the whole restless, irritable, and discontentedness comes in. And I wake up every morning abstinent, deciding whether or not I'm going to eat a bowl of cereal or shoot myself in the face because I'm so miserable. And I have the one thing that's always worked for me, alcohol and drugs, is been removed, and I can't face life. I can't face life without it. So unless I have this spiritual solution, which was taught to me here, and going through this process and inducing that psychic change that the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous has done for me, I have no defense against that first drink. Lack of power is my dilemma, right? So, like I said, I was misinformed by the misinformed for such a long time, and no one ever explained to me what comes after, what's the second half of the first step, that dash, that our lives were unmanageable. And I always just thought they were talking about while I'm in active addiction, but like I said, that's when I'm abstinent and physically removed from the drugs and alcohol, and I don't have any drugs or alcohol in my system. That's when the real problems start. And unless I have this psychic change that's induced by the 12 steps, I have no defense against that first drink. I have no power, and life is going to continue to be miserable every day, regardless of whether or not I'm drinking again.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate with you. You know, like I've been to treatment centers where I was abstinent for like 3, 6, 9 months, and within a week of leaving these treatment centers, like I'm drinking and getting high again. So like if drugs and alcohol were truly the problem, 3, 6, and 9 months of being abstinent would have cured me a long time ago, and I wouldn't have went through this vicious cycle of the mind, the body, and the spirit. You know, and I think it's important to get like what step one really means and like what this disease actually means. Like, so many people say it's a disease, but do they even know what the disease entails? I used to say it was a disease, and I had no idea what that meant. I just thought it was another cop-out and an excuse to do what I wanted to do. Like, don't get mad at me, like I have a disease. Yeah. Like, I didn't know. The most honest answer that I ever gave about this addiction was, I don't know. That was it. You know, and I don't think there's like enough people out there who are explaining this process to people, and like too many people are dying. I know you've known plenty of people that have died. I know plenty of people that have died, and it's because they truly don't understand what the problem is. You know, if I was to ask any one of my friends who passed away without knowing the solution if they'd want to go through 12 simple steps and have a lifestyle change and they could get another chance at life, every single one of them would say yes. But I guarantee you, if I asked those same people if they wanted another chance at life the way they were living before without a solution, they wouldn't want it. Because that was pure misery for me, and as hearing you, man, like it was pure misery. You know, like, I don't want that lifestyle. If I don't have a solution in my life, I don't want to be sober. Bottom line. like you said, I'm thinking about either blowing my brains out or I'm getting high. You know, and like that was the only solution for a long time for me. You know. So I just want to like thank you, man, for like explaining like kind of like what step one means to you. You know, and like hopefully get this message out to people of like what the actual problem is. You know, and because there's a lot of people out there who, like I said, don't know what this problem is. Maybe somebody's gonna hear this and say like, listen, like that's what my problem is. You know, how'd they do it? And then they hear the 12 steps. You know. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.